All right. We're going to see how this goes. And I just got a message. Yeah, we're going to have to refer back to that after we do maybe 30 minutes here. Don't hold me to it, right? I have been on a little bit of a hiatus as a whatever you want to call it. You want to call it content creator, entrepreneur, influencer, small business owner, whatever you want to call it. And I've been a lot reluctant. Let's see if there's a button I can push here for the chat. I don't know if this is going to be a live stream, a podcast, or just a video when it's all said and done. But I am here. I am live, I think. And there's a lot to talk about. What do I want to talk about? It's a great question. It's a great question. I don't even remember the last time I jumped on a live stream and did a solo show. All I can say is that I am not ready to come back and be a content creator. I've been behind the scenes thinking about what kind of content I could make, what matters even. What even matters as a content creator right now? There's a trend on YouTube, and if you're reading the title here on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, it's how YouTube has changed my life under X amount of subscribers. And I think it's just a really emotional, touches you in both the emotional and the logical sense, because having a small following means a lot of things. It could mean inconsistency. It could mean lack of originality. It could mean just being boring. It could mean a lot of different things. And for me, in my experience with content creation, it has been a lack of desire recently. Recently, I have not had anything that really motivated me to come out and have an opinion, have something to say, and just be present as a content creator. I've just kind of been conservative and reserved to offline opinions, I guess, as to what's happening in the creator economy. I've just really gone into my shell and just stayed away from saying anything because it just didn't feel right. Technology wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. The path to whatever was next hadn't yet been discovered, whatever it is. And I still feel that way. And it's coming off that way, and I know it's going to be tough listening to this because I really have no idea how to formulate the words as to the way that I've been feeling about the creator economy and basically the way that I feel about the world in general. I have beliefs. I have opinions. I have ideas as to what I think is the right way to do things, what's entertaining, and what's informational. Trying to convey that to my audience, whatever audience that is under 500 subscribers, has been really difficult because I have been trying to discover my identity as an adult compared to my identity as a young individual under 30 years of age. Now that I am in my 30s, and I'll be 31 this year, I'm starting to reach some of those adult priorities I had when I was a kid. You know, career, family, legacy. These things are coming into question. And, you know, I did a lot in my late teens and 20s that I am proud of, and also things that I resent. And I would like to move on from the things I resent and not rest on my laurels on the things that I want to accomplish. New aspirations, new desires, new dreams that are only going to come to fruition with time and changes in culture, changes in the way that people behave and perceive how other people act in everyday life. I'm happy to be where I have a lot of opportunity. I'm at a good launching pad. I am in a good place right now with my studies as a business student, with my goals and projects that I'm working on. And I'm happy that I am back in this kind of motivation and motion to network and collaborate with other content creators, entrepreneurs, influencers, small business owners, whatever you want to call it. And I had a really difficult situation had to happen at the beginning of this year where all of the technology, AI, crypto, metaverse, live streaming, all of this was just so flooding my my everyday life that I got caught up in scams and I got caught up in schemes and different things. And I'm not coming to this live stream to say that I'm out of any of that, but I am coming to this live stream to say that if you are in that situation, you have to work to get out of those situations, right? The mental mindset can feel like defeat, and it is defeat. And you have to acknowledge that you're a loser. You have to acknowledge that you've been defeated, and you have to practice the things that aren't in public eye. The things you have to go internally and do a self audit about what you don't like about yourself and what you don't like about how other people perceive you, and do what you're willing to do to adjust to be the person that you want to be. And I cannot say that I've accomplished that or that I have fully reached who I want to be today, but I am making steps towards that direction. I think that I'm trying to find that balance. That's for sure. There's two acronyms for what people are calling pessimism and optimism, what people are calling doers and lazies. There's these two Eastern, maybe internet culture topics, and they're NEET, N-E-E-T, not employed, educated, or trained. And there's also FIRE, which is financial independence, early retirement, or retire early. Financial independence and retire early. So, and then in between that is balance, and it's somewhat of both those things, in that you want to be a go-getter. You want to be a hustler. You want to be a proactive individual contributor to society on the fire side. On the neat side, you want to do all of that without restrictions, without obstacles, without friction in the sense of the paradigms of society, the system, the culture, the norms, whatever that is, right? And these things are contrasting each other constantly. People want to just, on the neat side, they just want to go into what they enjoy. Just kind of like give up on having to be a part of society and grinding away at a job that you hate, that a school that you hate, training that you hate, and just give up. Like, just people want to just give up. And that's an extreme. And on the other extreme, you have hustle core porn, which is Andrew Tate, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, all these masculine figures. And then you have the female figures of that, Layla Hormozi, Eleanor Cardone. You could even throw Joe Biden in there. You could throw Nancy Pelosi. You could anyone who is just a try-hard, right? You have try-hards in the fire category, right? And finding your peace, inner peace, or what makes you comfortable with living in your own skin is what is the most challenging thing I think people face today, because you're getting told you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too pretty, you're too ugly, you're too all these things, and there's constantly someone on social media, terrestrial television, radio, wherever it is, selling you something, a service, a product, a solution to try and fix whatever ailment you have, right? And it could be medication, it could be a course, it could be a lot of different things, right? And at least for me, and I think it would be true for most of you, is that you just want to be yourself. And it's becoming even more difficult to really decipher and explain what it means to be you. Live your truth is something, the lefties say, but in the sense that you know what the options are, and you're very educated, or you're self-educated on what the options are, and you have a hold of the reins on your own life. You have self-control, you have purpose, you have a passion, you have desires, and you know what these things are, and you're heading in a direction in which you're going to achieve those dreams, goals, aspirations. You have a compass in which you're going in that direction. And some people, will say that you need to create manifestation, you need to have a diary, you need to have a this, and you need to have a that. They're all selling you something. They're trying to get you to buy into their ideology, to buy into their practice, to buy into the way that they do things. But they are not you, and you are not them. The only way that can make sense is if you are finding someone, or you're even looking for someone, be it male or female, that is in some capacity similar or congruent with your lifestyle. You can't go find somebody who's married with 16 kids and you don't even have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and expect them to know what it's like in your life or anyone else's life that is not congruent or like even parallel or perpendicular to the direction of their lives. And so really, I'm jumping on here to say that I've gotten a lot of bad advice from people that I thought were on my side and people who were not on my side, right? Because the people that are not your friends, that are your competitors, even your enemies, you can learn from them. You keep your enemies close. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That's kind of how that goes, right? That's what the saying is now. How true that saying is like, up for interpretation. The realities are constantly changing, especially in the digital age that we're in now. The realities are people are connected to their devices almost 24/7. So they're getting overwhelming data and information that we don't have the capacity to decipher, or we don't have the bandwidth and throughput with our current interfacing abilities with technology to figure it all out. We just can't figure it all out. We can only figure out what we set our attention to. And the culture, society, or what is popular right now would say that we live in the attention economy. And so we're all trying to vie for other potential collaborators. There's all these different words that you could use to describe this. We're all trying to compete for other people's attention. Unless you're going far left, like NEET, not employed, educated, or trained, you're a part of the homebody culture where you lock yourself in and lock yourself away from society. You do everything on your phone, order groceries, you never answer the door's locked, you just kind of like you retreat into your own cave, your own dungeon, and you live in that space for how many ever years you can survive in doing that, and then you step out. And I am trying to balance, that in my life, between trying to afford to go out, to trying to afford to support my living conditions, helping others in their living conditions if I can, if I can contribute to other creators and get some sort of feel good receptors, serotonin boost, dopamine hits from being a giver, as opposed to being a receiver or a beggar or a leech, And this video is a small attempt to seed an idea and water a plant, an idea, obviously my YouTube, my Facebook, and my LinkedIn, on what I think is appropriate and right in this time. There are a lot of topics that I don't want to necessarily get into that are really politically charged, but I'm going to close it out with just saying the things that I think about the creator economy. The creator economy that I first entered into in 2015 professionally was focused on a form of content that is not the most popular right now. The advent, or like the super success, of TikTok and vertical video, which really came in the 2018, 2019 time period when TikTok really blew up, and vertical video from 2012 to 2018, 2019 wasn't all that popular. It existed on things like Periscope and it existed on Vine and what have you, but then Vine was not, it just wasn't, it didn't work out, right? We all know that Vine went the way of the way of the dinosaur and died out. And maybe that comes back. It doesn't have to come back now that, Twitter is X, but it changed the dynamics of how businesses, how content creators, how people generate reach, engagement, and sales. You have a finite amount of time to kind of throw everything into a 1-minute window and hope to get people to buy into your personality, your brand, and basically your dreams. So what I was working on, and I think it's still very popular, live streaming on Twitch, Kick, X, live stream on social media in general. It is it's simultaneously at the peak success that it has ever been, but it's stagnant as far as growth goes. It's not growing exponentially like it did during 2020 or even 2015. It's just kind of like growing at the same rate as everything else, which is disappointing. I think that at the entry level to mid level of being a live streamer, you're not seeing as much donation activity anymore. You're not seeing the level of brand engagement as it used to be, because this was all when it was all sort of cutting edge, people were buying into the newness of it all. You got to buy your favorite creator's t-shirt. You got to put a message on your favorite creator's content in real time. And there was an engagement back and forth on live streaming that I think is being taken for granted now, with all the platforms offering some form of monetization that's similar to that on platform, like Twitch Bits or TikTok Hearts, or anything that's like a platform currency, as opposed to like the monetization coming from off platform. Yeah, there's a lot more to be talked about here, and it's a lot easier to talk about this with someone who's, a guest on the show. Maybe that's something that we bring back, is a guest co-host situation. And we start having the conversation again about what it means to be an influencer, what it means to be a creator, what it means to be a business owner, entrepreneur. I know that I have people that have asked me to come back and create some content and have been missing the content that I have been putting out in this style. For a while there, I was just doing reaction short videos, and I wasn't getting the outcome that I was looking for out of those videos. It was just kind of like a passive thing to do. I'd see viewers, subscribers, these things, but I wouldn't see, it didn't make me feel good. It just kind of just felt like nothing. I'm looking for something that when I create content, I feel like a sense of accomplishment, a sense of achievement, that I've done something that I think has a positive impact on the internet, just in the culture of the internet in general. There's a lot to consider when it comes to being a content creator, and what influence you have on people, not even your audience, but like just people who see your content. What do they want to know? What is it that they're trying to learn? What is it they're trying to do? What is it that they are looking to be entertained by? And it's not easy to figure that out. It's not easy to figure that out because as a small creator under 500 subscribers, you don't get a lot of feedback. There's not a good feedback loop in that. And so you just do what you think is, you just do something. That's really what it comes down to. If it's garbage, it's garbage. If it's good, it'll it'll reflect in the viewership and the engagement. You know, it might even be one of those throwbacks that comes back in at a later time where people are like, yeah, remember when, you know, this is an old video, no one saw it, but this one's really good. This one's a classic. This one's one of those ones that's like, you got to pull back out of the archives. Though it feels like, you know, the way of the record, the way of the 8-track, you know, eventually this too might be gone. This format of live streaming, because people have a chip in their brain and they can just like see in their eyeballs some reality that goes on and off, and they don't need this external interface because they have an internal interface that covers that. That's sort of futuristic thinking. I don't know what to say. I'm not packed full of energy. This is sort of a low energy piece of content. It's just a thought, some thoughts that I have in my brain at this time. Just kind of put it out there on wax. You can follow me on all the things, Trent Knox TV. And I hope to connect with you soon. And until the next time, y'all have a good one. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one.